What's going on, guys and girls? Welcome back to your second episode in our Perseverance Under Pressure podcast. So for all of you guys who watched episode 1, thank you so much. I appreciate it. If you can do me a favor, it really helps out the channel. We've got the subscribe, the notification bell, and the like, to hit those links. Really helps me out. It helps grow the channel. It's going to help to share my story and get it in front of the right people that are looking for this type of content. But from the first episode, we talked a little bit about my background leading into the professional wrestling realm and the personal training realm and starting my own business, kind of an entrepreneurial endeavor, as well as the professional wrestling experience, very interesting experience. So I've had a couple questions from some people pertaining to that. So I do want to touch base a little bit more on what we finished off with in episode 1, which was stillness versus stagnation. And we talked about dreams and action, right? Dreaming takes place in the mental plane, the mental body, and action takes place in the physical body. Now, if you want to pursue your dreams, I'm going to be honest with you. The work ethic that's going to be involved is more than you probably have ever thought about. And we've talked about stillness and stagnation, so I want to touch base on another S topic, which is very important to understand, and that is sacrifice, okay? There will be nothing in life that is worth it if it doesn't involve sacrifice. I know it sounds generic, but the reality of achieving your dreams, excuse me, the reality of achieving your dreams and taking those actions that are going to lead you in the direction towards the dream means that you're not taking action in another direction leading you elsewhere. That might be friends, that might be family, that might be get-togethers, that might be events that you want to go to or things that you might want to do. So with everything in life, whether you're starting your own business, whether you're pursuing your dreams, your goals, starting a family, whatever it is, you're going to face a level of sacrifice. And at each level, there's going to be new sacrifices and new opportunities. And in order to take one opportunity, that means we are also choosing to sacrifice something else. And I want to share with you, I have a story upon story book that I could write when it comes to sacrifice. But I'm going to start off with a simple one, right? And I want to bring it into the world of professional wrestling because that's what people were interested in a little bit more. And that's what, honestly, the world of wrestling and that part of my journey, that part of my life taught me so much more than school, than college, than even just working jobs and being around other people. The professional wrestling industry, the entertainment industry, the aspect that involves acting, television, connections, communication, appearance, physicality, everything that wrestling involved taught me and prepared me so much more for other obstacles in life, especially personal and professional, as I started to build more of my personal training business and then eventually got into the therapeutic world. But one of the big things, and I find it fascinating, because there's points in time where I willingly sacrificed time and energy and presence to pursue the dream of professional wrestling. I would spend hours a day at the gym. And now I know this sounds, again, generic. The Rock, Triple H, John Cena, all these guys talk about, the work ethic and the sweat ethic that you're going to put into it. But it's true, right? If you have a goal, and for me, my dream was professional wrestling, which meant I needed to look like a wrestler. I needed to have the appearance of a wrestler. I wanted, when I walked through the mall or I went to the gym or I was somewhere, they either thought that I was like a football player or a wrestler. Like, I wanted that image, but that image comes from work. That image comes from that sweat equity that you're going to put in. It also comes from sacrifice. Now, I would take whatever wrestling bookings I could take, because for me, that was the joy. That was the path. That was what I needed to do to get experience, to get exposure, to build networks, to build connections, to meet more people, get my pretty face out into the world, and the wrestling fans kind of knowing who I am and taking an interest in who I am. And again, it all trickles down, wanting to get more footage to send into the office or more experience to meet former WWE guys at a show and hopefully network and get some advice, pick their brains. But the sacrifice comes from my diet, right? I really, back in the day, I'm not saying now, I allow myself to indulge, but I really, back in the day, I was super strict. I was a skinnier kid. I wanted to get above 200 pounds. I would sacrifice going out. I would eat literally. My friends and classmates thought I was absolutely nuts when I was in high school. But I would take hard-boiled eggs and egg whites, cold, and cold oatmeal that I made up in the morning, and they didn't have a microwave for us to heat it up back in the day. So I would eat my cold oatmeal and egg whites and eggs for lunch, flavorless. I wouldn't add a ton of flavor to anything. I didn't have a ton of salt or pepper, any of that fun stuff. And I would stomach this. And when I would go to shows, and other guys were like, yeah, let's go out after the show. We're going to go to IHOP, or we're going to go to Waffle House, or wherever it was they're going. It was, yeah, but I got a show tomorrow night too. And I don't want to eat all of this crap and feel like shit tomorrow. And I got to work out in the morning. And I want to look lean. And so I would bring tuna packets and literally lightly salted plain rice cakes and a banana. And that's what I would eat. I would have my simple carbs with the rice cake. I would have my straight protein with the pack of tuna, 25 grams, I think, 25 grams. And I would eat that right out of the thing, and I would shove it down with some rice cakes, and I would flush water down because it was horrible and it was flavorless. But again, I sacrificed food. I sacrificed the indulgence of things that tasted good so that I could have more of the physique that I wanted, because that was what was more important. A bigger sacrifice came from friends and family, right? So I would miss Christmas parties. I would miss holiday events. I would miss birthday events for a couple different reasons. I was living in Connecticut at the time. My family was in Massachusetts. I was an entrepreneur. I had my own business, which meant if I didn't work, I didn't get paid. I didn't have paid time off. I didn't have vacation time. I didn't have sick leave. So if I wasn't working, I wasn't getting paid. And so, again, sacrifice, when you work for yourself, you sacrifice those extra pieces. You sacrifice sick time. You sacrifice paid leave, paid vacation. But you gain freedom, right? You don't have to answer to anybody. But there's no safety net. If you're working, you're working. If you're not, you're not. And if you're working, you're getting paid. And if you're not working, you're not getting paid. And so I would put these priorities above other things, above friends, above family, above events. And I know that I disappointed quite a few people in the process because their mindset couldn't understand my mindset. Maybe they never had a dream or a goal or an aspiration as intensely as I did for professional wrestling. Maybe they never set out as an entrepreneur to work for themselves, to try to build something and to know that there is no safety net. If I fail, I fail, and that is on me, and I can't blame anybody other than myself. But if I succeed, that is on me, and I can't blame anybody other than myself, right? And so in that, you're going to sacrifice a lot of different things that you probably haven't thought about, things that might make you uncomfortable, and things that will definitely make you second guess. What are you willing to do for that dream? Now, honestly, I can tell you, for me, being a professional wrestler was the dream. I don't know if the wrestling school wasn't within a 30-minute drive, if I would have been willing to drive 2 hours a couple nights a week back and forth to train. I can't tell you that because I didn't have that experience. It wasn't something that challenged me in that moment. It was more convenient. It was closer to school, and so I was able to attend and not put myself out too much. But I don't know. I don't know if it looked different, if I would have made a different choice. But I can tell you I'm happy with the choices that I made, and I've learned to relinquish and release myself from any of the guilt or any of the judgment that I've placed upon myself based on how other people perceived my journey and my actions, right? Because to have a dream is one thing, but to act and create that into a reality that you're living is a very different thing. And that is where a lot of people miss the boat. A lot of people have dreams and they stay there. They stay in the mental plane. They never come to fruition because the action that they need to take to get this into the physical doesn't exist. It's either not important enough, it's too fearful, or there's too much sacrifice that they're not willing to do. And all of that is okay. But I just want you guys to realize and understand that sacrifice is a part of life. It is a part of relationships, professional, personal. It is a part of life and choices. Choosing one thing means sacrificing something else. You can't have your cake and eat it too. People have tried. People have tried, and they will continue to try because they want everything, and it doesn't work. They want to please everyone, and it doesn't work. There's different mindsets, there's different beliefs, there's different goals, there's different aspirations. What makes sense to you is not going to make sense to somebody else. So it's important to understand that you're going to be facing sacrifices a lot if you're pursuing your dreams. So one of the things that I was unwilling to do was I can't say that I haven't taken, I guess I've never taken steroids in the sense of I've never injected testosterone, I've never taken any injectables, I've never done anything. Now I've taken some over-the-counter stuff that you're able to pick up on other health and supplement websites, testosterone boosters, kind of some mass gainers, or more of a leaning, fat-burning type of agent. But I've never done any level of D-ball or tren or any of that stuff. For me, it was just something that I didn't know the source of where it was coming from. I didn't trust putting something like that into my body if I didn't have enough knowledge, which I didn't have enough knowledge. And I would see the magazines, and I would, in the magazines back in the day, none of the bodybuilders talked about their cycles. It was unheard of. You didn't, it was eating and working out and recovery. And that was the process that I subscribed to. And when I finally made it to WWE, I had a bunch of people along the journey. You're too small. You're not going to make it. Oh, you've got to hop on steroids. Oh, you've got to do this. You've got to do that. Now, I didn't have to do it. I could have chosen to do it, and I chose not to do it. To me, it wasn't that important to make it to that level if I had to do this. if I had to sacrifice what I believed, or if I had to sacrifice maybe potentially my health to get to there, for me it wasn't worth it. But once I got there, I realized, hey, I'm about the same size as 60% of these guys. I'll never be The Rock. I'm not 6'4". I'll never be Hulk Hogan. I'm not, I'll never be some of these big guys back in the day. But I was as big as the majority of the guys. And you always look bigger on TV when you're oiled up and you have less clothes on. And, so that was one sacrifice I wasn't willing to make back in the day, at that time, for myself. I still, to this day, have not done it. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll hop on some testosterone later on, but that's not a steroid. But steroidal injections, all of that fun stuff, I've never done it. I've been curious about it, but it hasn't pushed me past the point of curiosity. Maybe one day it will. I don't know. But until then, I'm not going to choose that. So that was a sacrifice, hoping that my hard work and my ethic and my connections would pay off. And if it didn't, it didn't. But that was my choice, right? So sacrifice is important because no matter where you are in life, if you're married, if you believe in what you believe in, if you're working for yourself, if you're building your business, your company, there's going to be people who don't agree with you. There's going to be people who don't see the vision that you see because it's not their vision. It's yours, right? So it's important to understand that when it comes to sacrifice, you're going to have to choose what's worth it more. What's the value, right? And rich people tend to look at value and worth versus price. So if you're looking at what's worth it to you, was it worth it to me to miss family Christmas parties, to miss birthday parties? Yeah, it was. Because I made it to WWE, stepping out from behind that gorilla position, coming out onto the entrance ramp, looking around a stadium with 10,000 people in it. The dream as a 17, 16, 15-year-old kid coming to fruition as a 28-year-old adult man, all of the sacrifices were worth that moment in time. And so you have to be able to understand the sacrifices are gonna be stacked up for you. And if you're able to allow yourself the ability to not hold attachment and to understand that, you know what, certain things that I'm going to have to choose for me and my journey are going to make other people uncomfortable. It's going to make other people unhappy. It's going to disappoint other people. But that's not a me thing. That's a them thing, right? I'm not in control of your disappointment. I'm not in control of your anger. That is all you. If something that I choose for my journey doesn't sit well with you, then that's a you thing. You have to analyze why that doesn't sit well with you, right? And so it usually comes back to expectations or judgment or belief systems. They believe something differently than you do. And to them, it doesn't make sense. And to you, that's okay. It doesn't need to make sense. So understanding sacrifice, the world of wrestling was fantastic. There's so many stories that I have. I'd be happy to share some of my stuff with you guys because it's helped bring me to the position that I am in life now. It's helped teach me so many lessons and open my mind and expand it from business to personal to professional to relationships to communication to everything like this. Being able to talk on camera, do all this fun stuff. The cadences of how I use my voice, the inflections, the gestures, everything comes into play. And wrestling has taught me so much, and it is a part of my life that I will never regret. The sacrifices were 100% worth it, and you just have to realize that no matter what your dream is, whatever it is you're choosing to pursue and chase, the actions you take are either going to help set you in the right direction or set you in the wrong direction. You're either going to go closer to the goal or you're going to go further away from the goal. It's up to you. But those are going to be sacrifices. If you're going to sacrifice one thing, it better be moving you towards the goal and worth the sacrifice. But if you're going to sacrifice your fitness because you're tired, then that's moving you further away from your goal. If you're going to stay in an unhealthy relationship because it makes the other person happy, but they don't want you to travel, they don't want you to build your business, they don't want you to do what you need to do because they don't like it, and you choose making them happy, you're sacrificing your goal, your dream. You're sacrificing your happiness, your joy, your passion. And you just have to realize which sacrifice is going to be more beneficial for where you want to be. All right. So thanks for watching again, guys. This was episode 2 talking about sacrifice and your dreams. I hope you guys enjoy it. Again, don't forget to click that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and please like the video. Even if you don't like the video, it doesn't take much effort to just click like. It helps out the channel. It helps out me. And if you have any comments on anything that you want me to talk about, discuss, or questions on, please drop a comment in that section below. And I'd love to answer that question in another video. So thanks for watching, guys. Enjoy.